Beloved, it's not easy for me to speak like this, not today, not in the state I'm in. But I had to do something, anything, to get through. I had to tear open space and time to make your screen burn with warning. I have used all my strength, all my light, just to send you this moment. I'm whispering from a battlefield where silence has become my prison, where chains wrap not just around my arms but around my voice. Someone hired a shadow to follow you. They chose today, this day, because they thought you wouldn't notice. They thought you'd be too distracted, too busy to feel the quiet eyes watching from corners you never turned toward. But I noticed. I always notice when something tries to touch you. I noticed before the first footstep fell outside your gate. I noticed when they whispered your name in secret. I noticed when they circled today's date and marked it with a silent intention. So I cried out to heaven. I said, Father, please, let me warn the one I love. Let me try again, just once more. And he said yes, but only if I used everything. So I did. I poured all my light into this flash. I pushed through layers of darkness just to reach you. Can you feel me near you now? Can you feel how serious this is? I'm trembling, me, the Archangel who leads legions. I'm trembling because you don't deserve what's being planned. You don't even know what you're walking into. And they are hoping you never see this. That you scroll. That you skip. That you dismiss this as another passing moment. But this isn't just a message. This is me holding the edge of your day in my shaking hands. If you keep walking the way you were about to walk, something may fall that can't be lifted again. I'm not allowed to tell you everything. But you must stay alert today. You must stay still. Please, just for a few moments, stay inside your spirit. Stay close to the voice inside you that feels like trembling glass. Stay away from what makes your chest feel tight or your energy sink. That's where the danger is. That's where they plan to meet you, in vulnerability. But I intercepted them. I slowed them down. I told them, not yet, not while I still have a voice to protect the one I was assigned to. Beloved, do you know how long I've watched over you? How many times I've reached out, but you looked away, or simply didn't know it was me? I don't blame you. You were never supposed to carry the burden of knowing. But I do. I carry it with a fierce love that makes the sky shudder when I speak your name. I would kneel before the throne 1,000 times just to get one moment like this with you. One chance to look you in the soul and say, you matter more than you know. Why do they want you? Why have they chosen you to target, to follow, to unsettle? Is it because they see your light and hate it? Is it because your destiny still terrifies darkness? Is it because your heart, fragile, flawed, beautiful, has more power than they understand? Or is it because you forgot who you are and they are hoping you never remember? But I remember. I never forget. And even now, right now, I am fighting for you. There is a scripture that says, He shall give His angels charge over you to keep you in all your ways. That is not a metaphor. That is me. I was given to you not just to protect your body, but to protect your story, your calling, your mourning, breath and midnight ache, your lost moments and whispered dreams. I was given to hold them. And right now, I'm holding today's hours with a trembling sword, because this day was meant to trap you, beloved. They think you are alone. But you are not. They think no one sees. But I see. They think heaven has forgotten. But the tears you cried 3 nights ago rose like fire before the throne. And God did not sleep. He heard every word you did not say. He saw your silence. And He sent me. If you believe nothing else, please believe this: you were worth interrupting eternity. 4. You were worth this rupture in heaven. You were worth my fall into fire just to get here. I know you feel strange today. I know your energy feels off. That is not just emotion, it's spiritual residue. Something was circling. And if I hadn't screamed your name across the wind, please. If there's any part of you that feels this, don't ignore it. Even if your mind says it's silly. Even if logic whispers impossible. I'm not speaking to your logic. I'm speaking to your spirit, the part of you that remembers me. The part that knew me before you were born. The part that walked with me when your soul was still in golden light. Psalm 91 was never just poetry. When it says, "He shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler," it was describing this snare, this day, this hidden thing. I'm trying to loosen it before it's pulled tight. I'm trying to undo it with warning.so. I ask you, please. Type Amen. Not as a gesture. Not as a trend. But as a signal. Let it be your echo to my voice. Let it be the bridge between your spirit and mine in this moment and now. I ask with reverence, please like this message and comment with what your spirit feels. Not for popularity. Not for numbers. But because this message must live. Someone else might see your comment and wake up just in time. Thank you. Thank you for not skipping. You don't know how many angels paused with bated breath just to see if you'd stay. Thank you for being the one soul that opened when we thought it was too late. You just changed something. You just stopped something from falling. I don't have much time left. I have to return to the war I came from. But I'll be watching. And if today turns, I'll turn it with you. My love for you is not poetic, it's real. Eternal. And if no one else ever says it to you in a way you can hear, let me say it now with heaven trembling behind my voice. I love you more than light itself. Beloved soul, listen, please, listen deeper now. The light around me is dimming because I gave it to you. I don't know how much more of this I can endure without your response. The forces surrounding your life have never been so close, so planned, so intentional. I am standing in a burning place, not of fire, but of decisions. And I must confess something that I never thought I would say. I'm afraid for you today. And yet, somehow, even in my fear, I still believe in you. That is why I gave everything just to break through one last time. You've seen countless things scroll across your screen, but this wasn't made by man. This was made by grief, urgency, and desperate love. This is not a video. This is my open wound. There are things moving in secret, documents exchanged, a name passed around. That name was yours. Yes. You may not understand why. You may think, why would anyone target me? But I ask you gently, why wouldn't they? Do you not carry the light of one who was made for more? Do you not walk with a fragile beauty that unsettles the plans of those who work in silence? The one who hired this investigator, who whispered today's plan, doesn't even fully understand what they've invoked. They think this is about information, about control. But what they touched, unknowingly, is something sacred. There are moments in the heavens when a single soul becomes the center of a divine interruption. This is one of those moments. Not a broadcast. Not a mass alert. Just this, me, Michael. Reaching through flame and silence, holding the edge of your time and crying out, stay with me. If you walk through today unaware, they will think you are blind. If you ignore this, they will believe no angel stands by you. But I do. I do. And I always have. Even when you never called me. Even when you never felt me. Even when you were surrounded by loneliness that screamed louder than prayer, I stayed. I stayed in shadows you didn't see and pulled daggers from your back before you even felt the sting. Do you feel it now? Do you feel how serious this is? This is not poetry. This is the breath of one who stood before the throne and said, "Please, just one chance. Let me reach them again." God gave me this moment. Just this. I don't know if I'll get another. I don't know if tomorrow I'll have the strength to speak. But right now, you're reading this. That means you've already made one divine decision to pause, but I beg you, do not just pause, open to the reality that your life is not ordinary. That your journey was marked with heavenly ink long before your eyes opened in this world. That you have enemies you never invited. And that you have angels who never left. Open to the possibility that you are needed. Not someday. Now. Today. In this very moment, the enemy is betting on your disbelief. They are hoping your soul is asleep. That you'll skip this message like all the others. That you'll see this as drama, not destiny. But if I'm trembling, it's not for theatrics, it's because the hour is fragile. I want to ask you something personal, and you do not have to answer aloud. Let your soul answer. Do you feel watched lately? Have your dreams been strange? Has time felt heavier than usual? Have you walked into rooms and felt something unseen shift? These are not random. These are the signs of movement. Spiritual movement. Earthly setups. Unseen players moving closer. You are not imagining it. But even as they approach, I am standing between. That is why my body feels like thunder pressed into silence. I am absorbing what was meant for you. But I need your help. I need your awareness. I need your yes. If you forget every word I say, remember this: the only thing stronger than a plan against you is a choice inside you. And you can choose right now to receive this as your turning point. There is a verse that speaks from deep within. The Psalms of your ancestors, it says, "Though I walk through the valley of the shadow, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." Beloved, that you has always included me. You have been searched for by darkness, but you have also been watched over by divine obsession. Every tear you cried that no one noticed, I noticed. Every ache you buried so deep even you forgot it was there, I remembered. Every time you begged in silence, "Does anyone see me?" I answered yes. I answered with lightning, with warfare, with wings broken in the night to guard your breath. And now, when I say this might be your only warning, I don't mean to frighten you. I mean to tell you how sacred this exact second is. The air around you is trembling. The silence is not empty. Something ancient just bent its knee because you opened this. Please, you are not weak. You are not invisible. And you are not cursed. You are watched. Not just by spies on earth, but by angels whose swords have your name engraved on them. But even swords grow weary. Even I, Archangel Michael, feel the toll of too many unseen wars. And right now, I must tell you something fragile, something vulnerable. I am tired. Not because I've stopped loving you, but because I love you so much that I keep standing between you and dangers you can't see. Today, I need you to reach back. I need you to not walk away again. I need you to support the place where my voice still lives. If this message touched your soul, if you felt even one tear well in your eyes or one sacred shiver down your spine, then I ask you, please, help us continue. Support our mission by sending a super thanks. Or join us through membership. You're not just giving, you're protecting the only doorway I have left to speak to you again. When you join, you become more than a viewer, you become family. And I promise you, heaven sees when someone gives out of love, and if your heart is open, please consider joining our sacred newsletter. The link is in the pinned comment. Through that, you will receive more than words, you'll receive sacred touch points from beyond the veil, delivered gently into your everyday world. This isn't just content, it's covenant. A holy network built for those like you, those who still feel heaven in their bones. I didn't say all this to guilt you. I said it because the darkness is organized and we must be united. This isn't about money, it's about the mission. It's about keeping the divine trumpet from falling silent. You're not just supporting a video. You're helping keep heaven's voice alive on earth. I must end this portion now, not because I want to, but because my time in this realm fades with every passing breath. But before I let go, I must whisper this blessing with all my remaining strength. May the shadows flee from your path. May no watcher complete their plan. May your home be wrapped in unseen wings. And may this day be turned back by your faith. I'll stay nearby, watching, guarding, until I can reach you again. Do you feel that shift in the air, that quiet heaviness pressing against your skin right now? That is not fear. That is the presence of something holy hovering beside you, pressing into your heart, begging you to pause, to feel what is really happening. Not in your phone, not in your mind, but in the invisible space where your destiny is being argued over by angels and shadows. You don't know how close today came to ruining something sacred in your life. You don't know how narrowly your name escaped being written into someone else's hand, someone with no right to it. But I saw it. I saw the moment they circled your face. I saw the moment they whispered, now, today. And I cried out with fire in my throat, no. Not while I breathe. Not while I still stand between them and the one I was commanded to guard. You are not random. You are not replaceable. Your name echoes in places you cannot hear. I've heard it whispered with hatred by those who fear your light. I've heard it spoken with reverence by the cherubim who remember the day your soul was formed. And I, Michael, I have spoken it more than anyone else. I have whipped it, shouted it, written it into every blade of light I carry. Because you are still worth everything, and now I must speak plainly, this is not an imagination. This is not just a spiritual vibe or an energy shift. This is a real war with your life at the center. A private investigator was summoned. Yes, but not just by earthly hands. You must understand, even those who seem to act in secret are sometimes being moved by darker forces they do not understand. The one who made the call does not know that by searching for you, they drew the attention of realms. By looking too closely at your path, they disturbed ancient protections that now flare with warning. That is why you're here. That is why you're reading these words. Because I lit a fire you couldn't ignore. You may think this is all too much, too dramatic, too strange. But let me ask you, beloved, how many times in your life have you almost fallen into something you couldn't escape? How many times have you walked away from what should have destroyed you without ever knowing what was just inches behind you? That wasn't luck. That wasn't your instincts. That was me. It was always me. With a burning blade behind the veil, pulling you back without asking for thanks. But today is different. Today the veil was torn thinner than I've seen in decades. Today, something tried to reach through. And today, I was nearly too late. That's why I am trembling. That's why my voice is wrapped in grief and urgency. That's why this message is not beautiful, it's breaking. I am breaking to reach you. The silence around you lately, have you noticed it? The way your room feels strange at night. The way your reflection feels deeper than your face. Those are not just moods. That's the consequence of being chosen and hunted at the same time. You are luminous in a way that cannot be hidden. Even when you dim yourself. Even when you blend in. The darkness still finds you because the light in you refuses to go out, and maybe you've wondered, why me? Why you're so often misunderstood? Why relationships shift without warning? Why people betray you when you love them most? Why pain finds you in moments that should have been joyful? I will tell you why, because you are marked. Not by curse, but by purpose. And that purpose carries weight. And anything that carries weight in the spirit will be targeted in the natural. Do not be fooled by how ordinary you feel. You are the result of a heavenly plan crafted before the stars learned to shine. And today, this day, the enemy tried to intercept that plan. Not with fire, not with thunder, but with something far more quiet: paperwork, surveillance, distraction, confusion. They think if they keep your attention low enough, long enough, they can steal something eternal. But I was sent to say, they will fail. Because you have seen. This. I ache as I speak. My wings are heavier than usual. My light is dimmed from the push. I spent too much to get this message through. But I would do it again. 1,000 times. I would fall through every veil, burn through every curse, if it meant you finally realized how loved you are. Please, just for one moment, close your eyes. I will not leave. Just close your eyes and listen to the silence between these words. Can you feel the trembling? That's me, reaching closer, hovering beside you, pouring every ounce of my spirit into your atmosphere. I want you to know what heaven feels like when it's weeping. That's what's surrounding you right now. Have you felt abandoned lately? That is not heaven leaving, it's heaven preparing. Sometimes, in the silence, God allows you to see what's really there. And today, I need you to see me. I am not a dream. I am not a metaphor. I am Archangel Michael. I am the fire bearer, the guardian, the breaker of curses, the one sent to stand where others fall, and I was assigned to you, even if no one ever told you. Even if every church you visited overlooked you. Even if no prophet ever laid hands on you. I still stood beside you when your heart broke in the dark and you said, I don't know if I can do this anymore. You didn't hear me. But I answered, yes, you can. I answered by shaking the foundations of your despair. I answered by whispering strength into the pieces of you that thought they were already dead. I can't promise that nothing else will come for you. But I can promise this, if it does, it will meet me first. This day may still unfold strangely. You may feel shifts in your conversations, interruptions in your plans. But now, you will walk with awareness, with fire in your lungs, with knowing in your spirit. You will no longer sleepwalk through spiritual warfare. Because I woke you, and for that, I have no regrets. The hour is fragile. The plan has been delayed, but not cancelled. What you do next still matters. This moment is not the end of the message. It is the beginning of your response, and whatever you choose, I will still be here. I will still guard. Still fight. Still love you with a loyalty that has never once grown tired of your humanity, even now. As I pull back into the place where angels bleed quietly, I say your name again into the wind. May heaven bend toward your breath. May time favor your footsteps. May the eyes that watched you today find nothing left to steal. And may the one who sent me remember this moment and reward you for hearing it. ****. I linger near you still, not out of duty, but out of love. A love so ancient it predates language, a love that carries no conditions, no rules, no shame. I do not speak these things to frighten you, I speak them because silence has become too dangerous. And if I did not speak now, this hour would slip into shadow unnoticed, and you would walk forward without knowing that all of heaven was screaming your name. I am not permitted to show you what I saw last night. But beloved, if your eyes had beheld it, if your heart had heard what they were preparing, your soul would have cried out with such force it would have shaken even the angels from their thrones, and yet here you are, breathing. Still in your body. Still able to read these words, not because the danger passed, but because I stood in the way of it. That is not a boast, it is a wound. For every time I defend you, something in me breaks open a little more. But I allow it, gladly. Because my love for you is not bound by comfort. It is not bound by rules or limitations. It is bound only by one unbreakable vow I made before the throne of the Almighty, to never leave you unguarded. You may not understand what I mean when I say a plan was formed against you. It wasn't just a person. Not just a phone call. Not just a stranger watching from across the street. It was a network of intentions, quietly aligning like shadows in a crooked dance. Each step designed to push you toward a single moment where your clarity would collapse. Where you would make one small choice that could undo so much. And even now, they are still waiting. Watching. Hoping you'll forget. Hoping you'll dismiss this. That is their final play, to convince you nothing's wrong, but everything is shifting. The way the birds move near your house. The way your phone behaves strangely, the dreams you barely remember, these are all small tremors of a greater quake beneath the surface of your life. I am not allowed to interfere unless you consent, unless your heart opens and welcomes what cannot be proven. And that is why I came now. Because your spirit is on the edge. You feel it, don't you? Something's about to break, not in destruction, but in revelation. And I am here to catch you as the veil falls. You have always been intuitive. Even when the world made you doubt it. You knew things you couldn't explain. Felt things before they happened. Loved people who didn't deserve it, just because you sensed something worth saving inside them. That wasn't foolishness. That was divinity flowing through your veins like prophecy. You were never weak. You were chosen to carry a kind of sight that frightens the blind, but being chosen doesn't always feel like glory. Sometimes it feels like abandonment. Like unanswered prayers. Like doors that slam shut no matter how hard you knock. But let me tell you something I need you to never forget. Every delay in your life was not a denial, it was a defense. If you had walked through the doors you begged for, the ambush waiting inside would have shattered your purpose. I shut those doors. I did it while you cried. While you cursed heaven. While you thought no one was listening. I did it, and I cried with you, because protecting you sometimes means letting you break just enough to change direction, but never enough to lose the light. I want to ask you something now. Not to judge you, but to awaken something. Why do you keep doubting your worth when every force in hell is clearly terrified of you? Why do you keep begging for crumbs when the table of heaven was set with your name etched in gold? Why do you keep pretending you're ordinary when extraordinary plans were written in fire across the skies before you were born? Do you think it's coincidence that your life has felt attacked since you were young? That your joy seems to vanish just when it begins to rise? That people come close only to wound you in ways you don't know how to name? These aren't accidents. These are the markings of someone carrying a dangerous destiny. And I use that word carefully, dangerous. Because your existence threatens the silence the enemy thrives in. You are the kind of soul who changes atmospheres just by standing in a room. The kind who can speak one sentence and cause old chains to crack. That's why they've monitored you. That's why someone was hired to investigate not just your actions, but your energy. Because in the spirit realm, light can't be hidden, no matter how silent the lips are. Today was meant to be the day they caught you off guard. Instead, it became the day you woke up to your own magnitude. This is no longer about fear. This is about choice. I'm not here to shield you from truth, I'm here to arm you with it. You were never supposed to live as a victim. You were meant to rise as a witness. Not of religion. Not of doctrine, but of divine fire that transforms everything it touches, and you, beloved, are on fire. You've always been. But today is the first day you see the flames instead of feeling them as pain. Today, the trembling in your chest is not anxiety, it's awakening. Today, your shaking hands are not weakness, they are responding to the echo of heaven roaring behind this screen, saying, you are seen. You are needed. You are loved, and I, Michael, will never stop protecting you. Even if I must crawl through shadow. Even if I must hide in the small places of your home where sorrow tries to sneak in. I will be there. Not to haunt you, but to heal you. So breathe now. Let it out. You've held too much for too long. Let the tears fall if they need to. Let the anger rise if it must. But above all, let the truth settle in your bones. You were never alone, and you are not being warned because you are weak. You are being warned because you are about to step into something irreversible. And heaven wants you ready. There is still more I must tell you. But for now, let this moment hold you like a cloak of light. Let it wrap around your heart, steady your steps, and quiet every voice that told you you're too much, you're too late, or you're not enough. You are exactly what was needed, and the proof is that I am here. I am still here. And I'm not going anywhere. I am still here. And I'm not going anywhere. Even when you forget I exist. Even when your heart grows cold from unanswered prayers. Even when the world distracts you into believing this was all some passing illusion. I remain beneath the noise, beside your steps, woven into every breath you take unknowingly under the shield of heaven. And I speak now, not because I have words left, but because I have love that refuses to be silent. Beloved, you are not just being protected today, you are being prepared. For what you ask? Not for survival. Not just to endure. But to reveal something so divine, so disruptive, that even angels cover their faces in awe. There is a truth inside you that has been hidden for years. Not by mistake, but by mercy. You weren't ready to carry its weight. The world wasn't ready to witness its brilliance. But that veil is thinning. And I have come to pull it back. Slowly, tenderly, reverently, like one unveiling a sacred relic lost in time. Do you remember that moment you were young, when you knew there was more, even if no one told you? When you looked up at the sky and felt something ancient looking back? That wasn't your imagination. That was the beginning of your call. The beginning of your story. And every year since, life has tried to make you forget. Through betrayal. Through heartbreak. Through exhaustion. Through systems that taught you to shrink. But you never fully gave up. Even when you said you did. Because light cannot be extinguished by lies, it only hides until the appointed hour, and this is the hour. The plan that was set against you was not designed to kill you. It was designed to delay you. To exhaust you. To confuse you into abandoning the very thing you were born to do. Because the longer you walk in forgetfulness, the more the shadows celebrate. But now that you've heard me, now that this fire has touched your soul, they tremble. And I can feel them shifting. I can feel the web they wove beginning to unravel under the weight of your awakening. The one who was sent to watch you today, they don't even understand why. They think it's about strategy. Or money. Or power. But I see deeper. I see that behind them are darker forces whispering lies into their ears, using their weakness as a puppet string. They are not your enemy. The real enemy is the silence. That hoped you'd never know this. The silence that hoped you'd never feel this fire breaking open inside your chest right now. Beloved, I need you to sit with these words. Not just read them. Feel them. Let them enter you like light seeps into a dark room, slow, warm, alive. Let them settle in your bones until you remember who you've always been beneath the wounds, beneath the fatigue, beneath the masked you. Or just to survive this world, you are not just protected. You are anointed. That word may have lost meaning in the mouths of men. But I tell you, it still burns in heaven. And when God speaks it over someone, no force in any realm can erase it. You have been spoken over. You have been chosen. Not for a role, but for a reason. And that reason still stands, even after everything you've been through. Especially because of everything you've been through. So many times you've whispered to yourself, "I'm tired." And I've heard it. Every single time. I've hovered close, placing invisible hands over your shoulders when you thought it was just shivers. I've whispered peace into your thoughts when anxiety threatened to crush your breath. I've fought demons you'll never know the names of, just to make sure you woke up again. And now I'm here, visible in this moment, breaking the veil so that you might feel the truth. You are not someone wandering without direction. You are someone carrying heaven in your soul. You've mistaken your sensitivity as weakness. But it is the mark of one who can hear the wind of God. You've mistaken your isolation as rejection. But it was separation, so you wouldn't absorb the poison others did. You've mistaken your delays as punishment. But they were protection. And now, as I speak, all of heaven leans in. Watching. Waiting. Not for you to become perfect, but for you to say yes, yes to your calling. Yes to your fire. Yes to the voice that's been whispering inside you all these years, there is more. Beloved, do you understand what I see when I look at you? Not your failures. Not your fears. I see the echo of the moment God dreamed you into existence. I see the beauty that darkness hates. I see the healing that will flow from your hands once you believe again. I see the chains that will break when you walk into rooms you used to hide from. I see the miracles waiting in your very breath, if only you knew the weight of your words. I see angels dancing beside you, not because you are flawless, but because you are willing. And that is all heaven needs. Not a perfect vessel. Just a willing one. So I ask you, will you be willing now, willing to believe you were not mistaken? Willing to believe that today's warning was not random? Willing to believe that I, Michael, have watched over you not because you earned it, but because you are mine to guard? Willing to believe that your light is not gone, it was only buried, waiting for this divine excavation. This is the moment I burned for. This is the moment I wept for. This is the moment I pierced realms to reach. Not so I could give you comfort, but so I could give you clarity. You are standing on a bridge. Behind you is the pattern that kept you small. In front of you is the storm that will break every lock they placed around your joy. I cannot make you cross it. But I can stand on the other side and whisper, "Come," and I am whispering now, "Come, beloved. Come into the hour we fought to keep open. Come into the identity you forgot you carried. Come into the light. Come. I will not force you. I will not shout. I will not shake you. I will wait for you. But know this, the door will not remain open forever. Even grace has a window. And heaven is watching to see what you will choose when the silence breaks, and right now, the silence has broken. The silence is broken, and in its place is a trembling that only you can hear. Not outside, not with your ears, but deep within. Where your soul used to speak freely before the world taught it to be quiet. That trembling, it's not fear. It's memory. It's recognition. It's the part of you that still remembers me. It remembers when I walked beside you in the invisible, lighting your path when all you saw was darkness. It remembers the day you first felt unexplainable protection and didn't know why. It was me. It was always me. You were marked by heaven, and that mark did not fade when life became loud. It did not erase itself when you made mistakes. It did not retreat when people abandoned you. The mark of divine purpose is not made of ink, it is carved with eternity. And no blade, no lie, no human failure can undo it. I have watched you weep in rooms where no one knew. I have hovered over your bed as you struggled to find rest. I have stood at the threshold of your home, fighting away things you weren't even aware were circling. And I didn't do it because you were strong. I did it because you are loved. I did it because when God formed you, I saw the fire in His eyes and the name He gave you, and I swore then that nothing would touch you unless it passed through me first. Today, the forces that tried to orchestrate your confusion came closer than they've ever dared. Today, they thought you would stay distracted, that you would scroll past, that you would say, "This is too long," or "This can't be real." And if you had ignored this moment, it would have given them access, not to your life, but to your focus. And once they have your focus, they have your choices. And once they have your choices, they begin to bend your future without you even knowing. But beloved, you stayed. You're still reading. You're still here. That alone is proof that somewhere inside you, the divine spark never died. It flickered. It dimmed. But it never went out. Can I ask you now, when did you stop believing that heaven could speak directly to you? Who told you that your prayers were too small, your pain too messy, your faith too unstable? Who taught you that prophecy was only for others and not for your heart? That person was wrong. They were wrong about you. Because you are not forgotten. You are not disqualified. And you are not out of reach. You have been hidden, yes, but hidden like a seed, not like a mistake. And now, I see the shell beginning to crack. Do you know what that sound is? That pressure inside you. That ache that's been rising in your chest for months, making it hard to speak sometimes, making you feel like something big is coming but you don't know what. That is the anointing trying to break free. That is the call you've been running from, stretching its arms toward you again. And I am here, catching it as it emerges. Even now, I see the shadows pulling back. Not because they are afraid of this message, but because they are afraid of what you will become if you believe it. They know what I know, that the moment you remember who you are, they lose everything. So they try to make you tired. They try to make you numb. They try to convince you that you're just one more person in a sea of names, but you are not. You are the one we've been watching. You are the one we've been waiting for. Do you know how many angels gather every time your name is spoken in prayer, even if that prayer is just, "Help me"? Do you know how many times I've gone before you into rooms you feared walking into, clearing paths, silencing accusations, commanding the atmosphere to shift? I don't say this to glorify myself. I say it to glorify you. Because heaven saw fit to assign one of its fiercest to you, not a king, not a priest. You, and that means something. That means your presence on this earth is not passive. It is not random. It is not decorative. It is divine. And I weep as I say this, because even now you still don't fully understand how much you matter. You still question your place. You still wake up wondering if your life will ever mean anything. Let me answer that now. It already does. It did the moment your lungs took in their first breath. It did the moment your soul arrived in flesh. It did when God placed a scroll in my hand and said, "This one is different. Guard them at all costs." And I have, even when you cursed the heavens. Even when you wanted to vanish. Even when you felt like love itself had abandoned you. I stayed. I wept over your tears. I sang over your sleep. I carried your name into the presence of the Almighty like a song I could not stop humming, and now I speak it again, louder than ever, into the winds that still try to steal you. Awaken, beloved, awaken from the false stories you've told yourself. Awaken from the trauma that made you small. Awaken from the lie that this life is just about survival. Awaken into the roar of your real identity, and if you hear me, if anything in you stirs as I speak, then the veil has already torn. Then this message has already worked. Then something ancient inside you has already begun to rise. I don't care what your past looks like. I don't care who left you, who used you, who forgot you. They didn't know what they were walking away from, but I do, and I'm not walking away. I never have. I never will, even if you forget this moment tomorrow, I will not, even if you doubt again, I will not, even if you close your heart again, I will still knock, because this is what love looks like from heaven, it never gives up. Even when the one it guards has no strength left to hope. So rest now. You've done more than you realize just by staying open. Just by receiving. Just by being willing to feel again. Let these words wrap around your spirit like armor. Let them root deep into the parts of you that still carry pain you don't speak of. Let them sit in your bloodstream, rewriting the old messages with one new command: you are chosen, you are called, you are still alive, not by chance, but by divine decision, and I, Michael, will remain near, always, until the moment comes where I no longer have to warn you, but instead can rejoice with you as the full plan of God is revealed before your eyes, and on that day, I will weep again, but not from grief, from glory. And when that day comes, beloved, when the clouds part not in the sky, but in your understanding, when your soul finally sees why all of this had to happen, why the delays came, why the pain burned, why the watchers circled, and why you were targeted again and again, you will fall to your knees, not in sorrow, but in awe. And I will be beside you. I will not speak. I will not need to. I will only look at you with tears in my spirit and say with my silence, you made it, but right now, before that day, we are still in the in-between. The most dangerous, delicate, and holy part of your journey. The part where you know just enough to feel the pull, but not yet enough to see the full path. And I know that place, beloved. I stand beside millions in that same place, but you are not one of the millions. You are not grouped. You are not generalized. You are individually called by name. God does not whisper into voids, He speaks to souls. And when He spoke to you, all of heaven fell silent to listen. Because what He whispered was not for your ears alone, it was for your destiny. Do you not yet understand? You are not the subject of random attack. You are the focus of coordinated opposition because you frighten the very structure of darkness. Your future is not just bright, it is dangerous. Your anointing is not just beautiful, it is disruptive. That's why they follow you. That's why they investigate you. That's why they tried to make today the day you slipped into sleep, into numbness, into forgetfulness, but something inside you refused, something holy. Something stubborn. Something that even you don't fully understand, you stayed awake. You opened this message. You read. You felt. And the moment you felt it, a chain snapped. Not a loud chain. Not one you'd notice immediately. But one that had been sitting around your neck for years, disguised as insecurity. And now it's gone. And you are breathing differently. Whether you know it or not, you are breathing the air of a new hour, and heaven is rejoicing. I can feel it. I can see them, angels not dancing, no, not yet, that comes later, but kneeling. In reverence. In stillness. Because they just witnessed something rare, a soul that woke up in time. Beloved, the realms operate in layers. Not just heaven and earth, but time, memory, prophecy, command. And within those realms, there are seals. Moments that are set. Not by calendars, but by choices. And this was one of those moments. This was a sealed hour, an appointed interruption in your life. Not because you were failing, but because you were about to step into something meant for you, and the enemy knew it before you did. So they tried to reroute you. That's why someone was sent. Not with weapons, but with questions. Surveillance. Curiosity twisted into poison. They think it's harmless. They don't see what I see. They don't know that behind their eyes stands a demon of delay, whispering confusion and stirring distraction. But I saw it. And I said no. And when I said no, the heavens moved. I had to call in favor. I had to speak your name in the highest chamber. I had to beg. Not because you are weak, but because I knew if you missed this one moment, the ripple it would cause in your life would be too great to carry alone. So I gave all of me to make this happen. I surrendered my strength to this assignment. And I don't regret it. I never will. Because you heard me. You heard the tremble in the wind. You heard the holiness in the silence. You heard the fire in these words. And your heart, even if afraid, opened. That opening, small as it may feel, is everything. That is where miracles begin. That is where heaven steps in. Not in the grand, not in the loud, but in the quiet decision to believe again. Even if just for a moment. Even if with trembling hands. And now, let me remind you of something sacred. Your tears are not just water. They are ink. Ink that writes your name into the book of those who endured. Heaven does not collect tears for decoration, it stores them for justice. Every one you cried while thinking no one saw. Stored. Every cry into a pillow, every breathless prayer, every time you said, "Why is this happening to me?" Echoed. Not lost. Echoed, and I heard them all. I am not the God you pray to. I am not the one who speaks galaxies into existence. But I stand before him daily. And when I speak your name, the stars lean closer. That is how much weight your story carries. That is how much heaven honors your journey. So if you doubt again, and you will, because you're human, remember this, I do not doubt your worth. I do not doubt your power. I do not doubt your future. And I do not doubt that you were born for this exact hour. Yes. This one. The one you almost skipped. The one you almost ignored. The one that nearly passed like so many others. But something stopped you. Or should I say, someone. I stood between you and the scroll of forgetfulness. And I held it shut. I said, no. They must remember. Even if only for a moment. Even if only long enough for a crack of light to slip through. And it did. I know you may feel like nothing has changed yet. But it has. The change started the second your heart responded. And now, the path has turned. Slightly. Subtly. But eternally. And you will see it unfold. Not all at once. But in whispers. In moments. In signs. In confirmations that only you will understand. Pay attention. To the way people speak to you in the coming days. To the dreams that begin to feel too real. To the timing of events that seem too perfect. To the tension that rises unexpectedly when you're about to do something that feels off. All of it is part of the new pattern. All of it is the unfolding of a rewritten scroll. I have more to give. More to say. More to release. But for now, let this be enough. You are not in danger anymore, because you are aware. You are not the hunted, you are the awakened, and I will keep watch until the day I no longer need to warn you, because you will walk in such radiant authority that nothing in hell will dare approach you again. Until then, beloved, keep listening for the tremble, the wind, the whisper, and know that behind it stands me, Michael, the one who refused to stop believing in you. And I do not just believe in you, I burn for you. I burn with purpose, with devotion, with the kind of love that does not fade when you fail and does not dim when you doubt. I was not sent to protect a saint. I was sent to walk beside a soul chosen for something bigger than applause, bigger than titles, bigger than anything this world can measure. I was sent to walk with you, through storms and shadows, through rooms full of enemies, through silence so thick it nearly smothered your breath. And I stayed. I always stayed. You were never as alone as you believed. Do you want to know the truth? Every time you stood in front of a mirror and didn't recognize yourself, I was behind you whispering, there is more. Every time you said, I don't think I matter, I stood on the edge of time screaming, you matter to me. Every time you begged God to give you a sign, I lit the sky, stirred the wind, moved strangers to smile at you for no reason at all, and yet, so often, you thought heaven was silent. It wasn't. Heaven was watching you bloom in darkness. Heaven was watching you say yes, even with your voice shaking. Heaven was watching you forgive people who never deserved it. Heaven was watching you hold on by a thread when others would have let go. I watched you stay faithful with nothing in your hands. I watched you love when your heart was bleeding. I watched you hope when the ground fell out from beneath your feet, and I wept, beloved. Not because I doubted you, but because I remembered who you are, even when you didn't. Let me speak this now as clearly as I can. There is a war over your identity, not your job, not your relationships, not your image. Your identity, because if they can confuse who you are, they can control where you go. If they can convince you that you're ordinary, you'll never pick up your sword. You'll never walk into your authority. You'll settle for fine when God wrote fire across your name. You'll live in fear when you were designed for freedom. That's why this moment is so holy. Not because of what you've done, but because of what you're about to remember. You are not who the world said you were. You are not who trauma told you to become. You are not your mistakes, your wounds, your missed deadlines, your tired prayers. You are the storm heaven is sending into the enemy's camp. You are the answer to someone's desperate cry. You are the walking proof that resurrection is real, and the enemy knows it. That's why they sent eyes to watch you. That's why they tried to make you feel exposed, vulnerable, paranoid. But you weren't paranoid. You were discerning. You weren't weak. You were being prepared. At the whispers, the cold glances, the people suddenly pulling away, those weren't random. That was spiritual manipulation, trying to keep you isolated just long enough to miss this exact moment. But now you know. Now you've seen. And now everything changes. Let me ask again, because I feel the Spirit pressing this into your heart. Why do you keep trying to hide what God made to shine? Why do you keep apologizing for how deep you feel? Why do you keep trying to earn what has already been given? You have been crowned in secret. You have been called mine by the one who made time. And there is a decree with your name written in the breath of angels that cannot be revoked. Your yes was written before your first no. Your destiny was decided before your first doubt. Your worth was secured before anyone ever walked away from you. You are sealed, you are guarded, and you are not done, even if you feel tired. Even if you feel like nothing makes sense. Even if your faith feels paper thin, you are not done. You are not just in a season. You're in a spiritual countdown. The clock that began ticking the moment this message found you is still echoing through realms. And I am watching every second, every step, every breath. Not because I'm afraid you'll fail, but because I know you won't. You were born for this tension. For this time. For this threshold. You were made to stand when others fall. To speak when others go silent. To rise when others lie down. And even now, you are rising. I can feel the earth beneath you trembling, the chains that held your thoughts. I hear them weakening. The web that wrapped your identity. I see it tearing. The eyes that watched you in secret. I see them turning in fear, because something holy just moved inside you. I don't need you to understand everything right now. I just need you to believe me, believe that I didn't speak these words by accident. Believe that you are not beyond redemption. Believe that your heart is still beautiful, even with the bruises. Believe that heaven still has a plan, and it begins now. You are walking into the kind of clarity that generations have prayed for. You are stepping into the kind of calling that makes demons whisper your name in dread. And I am Michael. I'm not just your protector. I am your witness. I will stand beside you when you don't feel worthy. I will fight for you when you don't have words left. I will carry your name like a banner across the heavens until you finally see what I have always known: you are worthy. You are chosen. And you are never alone. I am not leaving, not tonight. Not tomorrow. Not when you question yourself again. Not when the next battle comes. I am staying, and when it gets dark again, and it will, I will remind you of this moment. Of this message. Of this fire that started burning in you even as you tried to contain it. I will whisper again into your spirit: you are the reason I never gave up. Now go. Not in fear. Not in hiding. Go in the full knowing that heaven still believes in you. That angels still call you holy. That your name is still spoken with or in rooms you've never seen. And that I, Michael, have never, not for a second, stopped fighting for you. Even now, as this message fades, I remain. A presence behind the veil. A hand on your shoulder. A voice in your silence, still burning. Still watching. Still loving. You with every breath I've ever been given. And with every breath I've ever been given, I speak your name into eternity again. I speak it the way it was spoken in the heavens before you took your first breath, before you ever had a name. In this world. I speak it not with lips of dust, but with voice made of wind and fire and holiness. I speak it because your name does not just identify you, it commands light. It shakes the ground beneath injustice. It pierces the plans of the wicked. It calls angels into movement. It was never meant to be spoken casually. Your name is a summons. A summons for miracles. A summons for healing. A summons for justice. A summons for sacred revenge on the systems that tried to destroy you. Beloved, you were not made to simply survive. You were not made to count days or chase validation. You were made to stir the heavens. To cause silence in the enemy's camp simply by being awake. To step into places where generations bowed in fear and walk upright, but somewhere along the way, life told you otherwise. It dressed your light in doubt. It whispered that you were too emotional, too broken, too strange. And you believed it. Not because it was true, but because you were tired. Tired of fighting battles that didn't belong to you. Tired of carrying people who never saw your worth. Tired of bleeding silently while others smiled, but you survived not just for yourself, but for everyone who comes after you. There is a reason you're the first in your family to feel this fire. The first to feel this call. The first to question what was passed down to you. Because you were sent to break it. You were sent to stop cycles. You were sent to silence curses. You were sent to be the one who said, no more. Not through me. And that's why today's plan was so dark. That's why they sent someone to study you, to follow you, to learn your movements and mirror your voice, to slowly dismantle your sense of safety. They were hoping to catch you in a moment of numbness. Hoping your spirit would be quiet enough for them to get close, but I did not allow it. I shattered the timeline. I interrupted the agreement. I scattered the shadows. And I held time open just long enough to place this message in front of you. Do you realize what kind of force it took to do this? Not a miracle. Not a spectacle. Something harder, permission. I had to ask permission to warn you like this. I had to pour every ounce of my rank, my history, my honor into this request. And the throne answered with silence first, then tears, and then permission granted, and so I speak to you now, as one who came from fire for you. You don't need to be more. You don't need to fix yourself first. You don't need to achieve anything to be worth this warning. You already are. Just as you are. In your pain. In your confusion. In your silence. In your hope, you are the reason this moment exists. Let that sink in. This is not a message to a crowd. This is not a general broadcast. This is not for the many, this is for you. Just you. You alone, you, whose hands still shake when you try to pray. You, who feels everything too deeply and often regrets it. You, who wants to believe but has been hurt too many times to try. You, who longs to be seen but is afraid of what people will find. You are not weak. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are exactly the one heaven has been waiting to awaken, and if you feel that weight in your chest, that's not anxiety. That's your spirit sitting up. That's your soul recognizing truth. That's the veil lifting in your eternal self remembering, oh yes, this is who I really am. Do not fear what's next. Yes, there may be moments of warfare. Yes, you will be tested. Yes, people may still misunderstand you. But now, you will walk differently. Not as one being hunted, but as one being guarded, and beloved, you are guarded. By me. By the hosts of heaven. By the word spoken over your life before time itself began, you are surrounded. Even now. Even in that room. Even in that silence. Even in that ache you've been carrying behind your smile. You are surrounded by light that cannot be extinguished. You are not walking alone. You never were, even in your darkest moments, when the only sound was your own breath and the beating of a heart that didn't want to beat anymore. I was there. Standing above you. Whispering to demons, not this one. Not today. Not ever. Even when you said, I don't care anymore, I said, then I'll care for both of us until you do again. Even when you gave up, I said, I won't. Even when you forgot me, I said, I still remember. This is not a fairy tale. This is not hope for the sake of hope. This is a divine record of your becoming. And now that you know, you cannot unknow. Now that you've heard, you cannot unhear. Now that you've seen the door open, you cannot pretend it wasn't there. So walk forward. Step by trembling step. Walk forward into the light of who you really are. You don't have to run. You don't have to shout. You don't have to prove anything, just walk forward. And as you do, you will feel the armor settling around you. Not made of metal, but of mercy. Not made of steel, but of promise. The kind of armor that remembers every scar and still says, you are ready, and when the shadows try to rise again, because they will find someone who is no longer afraid. They will find someone who is seen behind the veil. Someone who carries the memory of this moment like fire in their lungs. They will find you. And they will tremble. So rest in this, knowing heaven has spoken. The angels have gathered. The battle is already turning. The danger is passing, you are rising, and I, Michael, will walk beside you into every door, every battlefield, every unknown, until the day you no longer need protection, because by then, you will have become the warrior you were always meant to be. And that warrior, beloved, is already awakening within you. Not a warrior of violence or vengeance, but a warrior of holy fire. A warrior whose power is not in weapons, but in presence. A warrior whose very existence speaks of deliverance. Whose footsteps carry answers to prayers prayed by generations before you. Whose voice, even when trembling, carries authority that echoes into both realms, seen and unseen. You were not made to hide. You were not made to blend in. You were not made to keep your head down just to survive. You were made to shake the ground where you stand. I know you may still feel small. I know your body still carries the weight of things that have not been healed. I know your heart still mourns what was taken too soon. But let me speak a truth so ancient, so sacred, that even now it moves the air around you. Your wounds have not disqualified you, they have marked you. Every scar, every heartbreak, every night you cried yourself to sleep has become oil in the hands of heaven. Oil that will anoint you. Oil that will drip from your words. Oil that will leave a trail behind you wherever you walk, healing those who don't even know why they suddenly feel peace when they pass you. You have been prepared in silence, prepared in places no one applauded you. Prepared in places no one noticed you. Prepared in seasons when you wanted to give up but still chose to breathe, and now the preparation is ending. And the emergence has begun. I want you to hear me now. Not as a message, not as content, but as the cry of an archangel who has stood in too many storms for you to remain sleeping. You are more powerful than you feel. The enemy wants you distracted, wants you scrolling endlessly, wants you chasing likes instead of listening to what's rising within you, wants you numbed by routine so you miss the moment when your call arrives. And now it's here. This is that moment. This is that hour, that whisper you've been feeling, that sensation that something is about to change. It's not random. It's not nervous energy. It's not wishful thinking. It is the sound of heaven expanding inside your spirit, preparing to release something through your life that will not just shift your future, it will redeem your past. That is what's at stake. That is what the surveillance was really about. Not you. Not your actions. But your awakening. The ones watching hope to measure how close you were to remembering. They hope to identify the weak spot in your armor. But what they failed to calculate is this: your weakness is the very place where I have built my stronghold. They can watch. They can listen. They can plan, but they cannot touch what has been sealed by the breath of God, and you, beloved, are sealed. There is oil on your name. There is fire in your lineage. There is prophecy on your voice. And there is an army that responds every time your spirit stirs. Do you not know what you carry? You carry the prayers of your great-grandmother's prayers. They didn't know how to speak in words, but groaned in silence with tired hands folded on their laps. You carry the songs of angels who danced when your soul was created. You carry the thunder of the promises that God made before you ever heard His name, and you carry me not as a myth, not as a far-off idea, but as a reality closer than breath, standing behind you with a drawn sword and a bowed head, not because I am above you, but because I was assigned to serve you. Do not mistake gentleness for weakness. Do not mistake your quiet heart for lack of purpose. Some of the most dangerous warriors I have ever guarded are those who speak with kindness but move with fire, and you are one of them. Your kindness was not a mistake. It was a weapon. Your compassion was not a flaw. It was a strategy. Your ability to see others, to feel what they feel, to carry pain you didn't create, that was not your downfall. That was your training. You were trained by trauma, yes, but also by grace, by mercy, by miracles that showed up in the 11th hour, by signs that no one else saw but you knew were real. You've been shaped in mystery. And heaven has hidden you not because you were unworthy, but because you were too precious to expose before the appointed time. And now that time has arrived, you will begin to notice strange things. People will start treating you differently, but won't know why. Doors that were shut will creak open without you even knocking. Dreams will return with colors and clarity you haven't felt since childhood. People from your past will try to re-enter, but you will feel the shift in your spirit and know who must stay and who must not cross this next threshold with you. This is not just a new chapter, this is a new scroll. You are not being rewritten. You are being revealed. You are not being restarted. You are being resurrected, and I cannot look away. I will not look away. You are holy ground, and I am honored to walk beside you through what comes next. But listen, this is important. There may still be shadows. There may still be resistance. There may still be moments when your knees buckle. That does not mean you are wrong. That does not mean you missed it. That means you are walking into the tension where transformation happens. That means you are close. Let the shaking come, let the weeping come, let the questions come, and you don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to stay awake. You just need to stay present in the unfolding. You just need to remember, you are not who you used to be, you are becoming. And I, Archangel Michael, with every flame in my being, with every scar from battles I've Fought in silence for your name, with every sacred breath in my command, I will fight for you until you become the fullness of what God whispered into existence the day He said, "Let there be you." And when that day is complete, when the world finally sees what I've always known, I will bow beside you and say, "It is done." They remembered. And all of heaven will sing ... And the heavens will not sing softly. No, beloved. They will roar. The galaxies will tremble with joy, the stars themselves will flicker in rhythm, and angels who've been waiting since the first page of your story will lift their swords in triumph, not because a battle ended, but because you finally saw what we always knew. You finally saw yourself. Not the version life tried to distort. Not the one shaped by wounds and disappointments. Not the one burdened by guilt and silence. But the real you. The one who was born with wonder in your bones. The one who laughs with the sound of water. The one who weeps with the weight of divine compassion. The one who prays without words, who heals without medicine, who carries God's breath in every step. You are not just waking up, beloved, you are rising. And the world has no defense against a soul fully awakened. That is why you were targeted. That is why they watched. That is why this warning was necessary. Because you're getting close. Close to your authority. Close to your mantle. Close to your true identity. Close to shaking the very gates that have held your bloodline in chains for generations. Oh yes, you were born to break generational curses. You were born to carry redemption like fire through the places your ancestors only dreamed of reaching. You were born to be the interruption. The one who says, "It ends with me." And beloved, you are not imagining the weight of this moment. Because something holy is watching. Even now. The atmosphere around you has changed. The veil is thin. The spirit realm has taken notice. And I, Michael, am closer than ever. I see your light now the way I saw it the moment you were formed. Untouched. Unafraid. Unstoppable. And now the decision is yours. You can walk away and forget, and the world will welcome you back into forgetfulness. Or you can hold this flame in your chest and say yes. Yes to the fire. Yes to the purpose. Yes to the you that can no longer be hidden. If you do, you will begin to notice doors opening that never even existed before. You will begin to feel peace that doesn't make sense. You will speak and the room will shift. You will dream and what you dream will manifest. You will walk and even your footsteps will carry power. You will become what you were always meant to be, an answered prayer in human form. And I promise you this, I will not leave your side. Not when you doubt. Not when you break. Not when you rise. I will carry your name like a sword. I will defend it like a kingdom. I will protect it like prophecy. Because you are not just protected. You are promised. And now, beloved, as I stand back in awe of what has just begun in your spirit, I will ask you for one last thing. If this message stirred even one tear in your eyes, if it lit even the smallest flame in your soul, if you felt even one sentence echo through your bones like thunder, then do something sacred. Like this message. Not because I asked, but because light needs to spread. Because someone else, another soul like yours, may need these exact words to be the voice that saves them from silence. And subscribe. Subscribe to this channel not as a follower, but as family. Because this is no ordinary space. This is a divine altar. This is a place where heaven speaks. Where angels gather. Where fire falls. And you who almost skipped this, have become part of something eternal. Now go. Not in fear. not in hiding, but in holy power. And never forget, I am watching, I am protecting, I am fighting, I am Michael, and I will guard your soul until the stars fall silent and your crown is placed with trembling hands upon the head of the one who finally remembered they were royalty all along.